What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to review Wednesday Season 2, Part 1. We're looking at episodes 1 through 4. My wife and I just finished watching it. Hit record here. I gotta lean more her side. She tends to be pretty harsh to things, and while I don't think I'm as harsh as she is, even in regards to the show, I think she's onto something. I do agree. I would say overall this is a pretty weak first half. It definitely has potential, but I want to kind of touch upon a couple points of why I think it's a lot weaker, starting kind of with just too much going on. It's something that you really can't ignore. I feel like you think they're juggling like A plot, B plot type thing, but they're just, you're including so much, including a lot of characters from season one of which, without spoiling it, I actually didn't think was gonna return, and they do. So you just have a lot of stuff happening, and it makes it so that, you have to juggle, you have to bounce between a lot of different people, a lot of different plots, and I think where this show was so successful last season was really in two things. One was heavy emphasis on characters and giving a lot of characters time with each other, and then also kind of keeping it like relatively simple. And I think you kind of do part two by doing part one. You don't have as many characters. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue, and with season two, yeah, they're still doing some of it, and I don't think it's all bad. I think several characters are still huge standouts. Jenna Ortega's Wednesday is just very consistent. I don't know if I would say she's maybe the best part or the best character, but she is great. So there's an actress that my wife and I were both kind of debating, like, do we know her from something? We both looked it up. So the actress that actually plays Laura in Silent Hill 2 Remake, she's in the show. Didn't know that going in. I can't unsee it now that I do see it, but she's phenomenal. I easily think she's probably the best character. She is used an okay amount, so she's definitely there. Fester kind of comes in late, steals the show, the scenes that he's in. I'd say Morticia is actually, I remember seeing in interviews and things leading into it that the family is more present and they're just like more used in season 2 than season 1. I don't know if I would actually say that's a good thing besides her. I think the mother-daughter relationship, like when those two are on screen, Wednesday and Morticia, I think that's some good content. I think their back and forth is really good. The rest of them, though, is kind of take it or leave it. Like Thing, do you really want to judge like a hand? But solid, I guess. But I'm really thinking of the other two. Really specifically Gomez, not really great. I've always wanted to give him a chance, and I'm not like super opposed. And I know it's a different take on Gomez, but I would say specifically in this season, like he's in it more, and at times that can be a good thing. At times he kind of shines, and then at other times I feel like it's just kind of a waste using time, on him. And there's actually, with Pugsley, there's a specific, subplot that he quite literally starts the whole thing. And that plot, which I guess I could probably say is just it's a zombie-like thing. Now, at the end of part 1, they pretty clearly, I think, tie it into the larger picture. I think that zombie is going to be a part of the bigger story going into part 2. But my dear God, it lingers so long. So, that's the general cast. The issue is there's actually a lot more of them. A lot of supporting characters from 1 come back for 2, which generally they're pretty solid. Tyler going from 1 to 2, pretty solid. But again, then there's a lot of additions, and I don't even think they're all that bad. I think some of them are actually quite strong. It's just when you're adding so many characters and, you got this basic plot that was shown in the trailers. I'm not really spoiling anything. Wednesday sees Enid's death. Not even really her death, but, she sees kind of the aftermath. She knows she dies. Really what that leads to, and if you notice when I was talking about highlight characters are actually quite good. I actually didn't mention Enid. Now, I think she's a good actress, and I liked her a lot in season 1. I think the issue is her character, the dynamic between her and Wednesday is quite important and quite special. I think that's why it worked. The issue is it's kind of that tropey Wednesday knows she's going to die. So because she's going to die, she almost does like the Dumbledore thing with Harry in the 5th book, right? Separates herself so much. She's not talking to her. She doesn't really develop the friend in the Laura from Silent Hill, but she kind of, Agnes is her name. She doesn't really do that. I like the bickering there, and I like the jokes, but she's just put on such a back burner. And when she wants to help, Wednesday won't let her help. When she wants to do anything, Wednesday's not really there, in a way of protection, right? And that comes through a couple times. I would say one is where she says, like, do you even want to be my friend anymore? And Wednesday says, like, that was never in question. That right there is good. But the issue is that's one sentence, and they do that maybe 2-3 times in 4 hours. So that relationship's just not there. I can't really classify Enid as a great character when it's not even like she's bad. It's just she's not used. They actually do kind of demote her to just like this love triangle interest thing where she's kind of growing out of her past relationship from season 1, and he's in it, and he's solid, but she's growing out of that and falling in love with another guy. That's her whole plot, simply because Wednesday won't tell her that she saw her death, right? So it's like you really put her to the benches. She's benched for this entire season, or at least part 1 of it, and that just leads to not a good character, So, I mean, those would be my main gripes. I think this is a show, at its best, it's held up by characters and mystery. And so when you don't have those things, or they're messed with, or there's just too much going on, that tends to lead to the negative. So, season 1, I would say, had a lot of that. Season 2 definitely has the intrigue, definitely has the mystery. The issue is, I think it's too big. I just think they're actually going like way too far with way too many characters. And that's the other point is I think when you stick with, what did the first season have? Probably at max had like 5-6 characters that were really super interesting. I would say it's doubled. I would say they're really trying to juggle maybe 10 plus unique characters and not even necessarily give them time, but try to have these A-B plots, try to have everybody kind of involved. And I think what happens there is you have some characters on the bench, and then you want to have, kind of special episodes where Fester is so involved. Okay, he's awesome, and he's a really great part of that pretty good episode, right? But when you do that, now you're taking so much time away from your other like 9-10 characters that you have to focus on. So, I thought it was fine. I don't know if I would say it was bad, but it's definitely not up to par, I would say. I fondly remember season 1. Granted, I watched it once, and I watched it when it first came out, right? It's been 3 years, I believe, since then. Maybe it's not as good, but I remember it in like a very good light. I hope season 2, it definitely has like what it takes, because like the mystery is there. There's enough intrigue where they can do something with these last 4 episodes. I think they really just have to kind of get down to character moments, because I think actually in part 1, episodes 1 through 4, the best moments, yes, there is intrigue and mystery, and that, my wife and I are kind of guessing back and forth of who this person is or what this situation could be. So it has that element, and it does work. When I'm like out loud questioning things, I guess it is present. But I think it needs more of those moments, like I mentioned with Wednesday and Morticia, or Wednesday and Enid every, like, once an episode, right? Like, there's something special there. They just have to do it kind of more often. The issue is now everything kind of has to come to a head. They have to kind of solve a lot of these things with like 9 different characters. It's like, when you do that, it might be a little hard to kind of give them all the time that's needed. So, I'm going to watch part 2 immediately, day 1. But I would say, it didn't go, and I was really excited for it, by the way. Like, for whatever reason, I was very, very pumped for Wednesday season 2. I'm still pumped for part 2, but I would say maybe a little bit less. And in terms of the quality of part 1, not terrible. I'm not like upset that I just used my time to watch these 4 episodes. They were fine, but they kind of range. Like sometimes you're like, all right, just move on. Just like, can we leave this plot, or can we leave this character behind and start to do more interesting things? That was the feeling at worst, and at best there were definitely some good moments as well. But it was kind of more even than I thought it would be. I kind of wanted there to be way more good moments than bad. It kind of evened out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.